Hola, bom dia, alegria from the Silver Coast in Portugal with me, Carl Munson from expatsportugal.com. How are you today? Now, I'm trying to put on the screen, if I just move my torrada for a moment, that's my toast, by the way, and I want to talk to you about that because this has been a strange morning so far, full of first world problems, including the button not going. I feel so spoilt now, even mentioning it, but I'm trying to find the Ask Anything About Portugal banner to go across the bottom of the screen, and I'm thinking, wow, what are all these things that we've got here that are previous banners, and what were those shows? Look, will you, won't you? What was that about? Does anyone remember? I think I can safely get rid of that. This show may contain male adult humor not best suited to the easily offended. Well, I think we can get rid of that one now, or maybe not. I don't know. Head gardener McGrady. Support. Oh, I haven't done this one for a while. Astrid will be pleased with me if I do that one. Yeah, become a premium member. expatsportugal.com/upgrade. €47 for a bunch of absolutely wonderful discounts and perks. This is, can and how do we return to any kind of normal? We were asking that probably about a year ago in the pandemic, and it still hasn't really happened, has it? It's interesting to go back through these, like looking back at your old receipts. I don't remember eating that frango, or what it says on the receipt there. You know, that sort of thing, when you're going through your wallet or whatever, or a pile of receipts, however you manage these things. Maybe you're one of those people that puts them in a lever arch file, each with their own separate plastic punched pocket. I don't know, but it's interesting to look forensically back through the past. But this is the one I'm looking for. It's Wednesday, everybody. Ask anything about Portugal. Hashtag AAAP. And it feels like it should be a slightly more relaxed day today after the excitement of talking about currency exchange and gin yesterday, which was really excellent. And what else did we discuss? I see these are the heady heights. It just feels like today will be nice for a midweek rest, a hump day rest for everybody. Okay, you can of course call me if you wish to, and Hank might do this. Remember Hank, who used to post every day and would often be the first here in California? Well, the reason he doesn't do that anymore, it's because he's here in Portugal and he's having a fantastic time. That's the thing I should do. That's part of what we should do this morning, is I should go to the Expats Portugal forum and read some stuff from the captain's log. It's a beautiful little travel log that Hank's put together. I did read the first one, didn't I, upon landing? And Hank and Mrs. Hank are having a great time in all around Portugal. They were meeting with the doc, weren't we? This time last week, we read out the first part of the journey and Hank's first impressions, and he was on his way to see the doc, who was my guest, of course, co-host on Ask Anything About Portugal last Wednesday. But a few things to tell you about, and it's really up to you to lead the way on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday, because it's, yes, it says on the tin there, you can ask anything about Portugal, and I and those gathered here together in the name of Good Morning Portugal and Expats Portugal will attempt to answer them for you. So bring it on, is what I say. Also from Philomena, she sent details of how to take part in the local elections, which is very kind and considerate of her. That's what she's like, of course. And you remember Philomena, of course, Philomena Friday that we have every second Friday of the month, where last time she got me to sing like a Portuguese child, and we'll be doing that again next time she's here, and we'll be finding out what the Portuguese equivalent is of Old MacDonald. Okay, so let's go see who's here this morning. So I'll tell you about how to get involved in the local elections if you're a resident here in Portugal. More straightforward than it might at first appear. I've been given a car as well. Isn't that lovely? Thank you so much, Kate, for the car. And we will be going through that journey. I've always, if you've watched this at all, you'll know that I've been using hire cars a lot of the time when I've wanted a car in Portugal. And now I'm going to be a car owner in Portugal, and I'm going to be documenting the processes. I'll be honest with you, part of the problem for me in owning a car is all of that, getting the insurance and the test certificate and all that sort of stuff. So a little bit of laziness, but I'm going to be going through it. And you can tell me, if you've already done that, some of the things I should be doing, some of the things I should look out for. But it's obviously very useful information for people. Look at this bold claim. Let me just have a sip of coffee. Hold on a moment. It's tea, actually. Thank you to Mrs. M. And I'm going to be talking about a Torrada in just a minute. Hold up. Nice cup of tea. PG with a bit of honey in there. Good morning, all, from the most wonderful capital in Europe. Guess where he is this morning? He doesn't say, does he? You got the Portuguese flag, which is a bit of a giveaway. That's, of course, Andrew, who is now the driver of the Man Cave Reloaded. So check out that YouTube channel, Portuglish, if you have never seen the Man Cave or are missing it. Go to Portuglish, subscribe there, and you can watch the Man Cave Reloaded. A very enigmatic and mysterious message from Sarah Exton. Now I'm going to tune into this one using my psychic powers. What is Sarah saying? Would anyone else care to guess what is being said? They're a bit too hasty on the return key possibly there, but very good morning to you. I'm going to go with an hola, bon dia, alegria from Sarah Exton. Good morning to you, Sarah. Elra's here as well. Good morning, everybody. Bon dia a todos. Bon dia a todos de Amsterdam from Matthias. And I'm curious every time I say that, and you know I'm a bit hesitant with pronouncing words, and I do like to get them right. Is it Matthias or Matthias? I think it's probably Matthias, actually, or we could go for a translation of Matthew, couldn't we? Not that we would. Jacqueline CDM, hola, bon dia, todos as well, from Jacqueline CDM. Oh, those photographs recently, Jacqueline, of the beach, fantastic. Sir Lion H, bon dia desde Braga. Oh, we haven't heard from you for a while, Sir Lion H, have we? Up there in Braga, often underrepresented, northern Portugal, of course. Spreading the love to all this morning is Andy. It's in Lisbon, of course, the best capital in Europe, as he refers to it. Bon dia from Joel as well. How are you, Joel? You'll know about you. I can come to you, can't I? I think Joel should have Car Corner. Any car problems you've got in Portugal, he could set up a little Patreon or coffee page, couldn't he? And we could bung him a few coffees or touradas or tostamishtas for his help. He knows everything about vehicles in Portugal. So and I think we should reward you for that, Joel, in some way, if you're up for it. Jacqueline Branco, good morning. Have a great day. Not able to stay. She's always busy, isn't she? But a very great that you bother to pop in and say hi, Jacqueline Branco, which we thoroughly appreciate. Going around doing good deeds, if I know Jacqueline Branco at all. And I don't know her very well, but I know her well enough to say that. So I'm sure you're off out doing great works around the community, Jacqueline. Have a great day. Who's this now? Mark Stoll. Oh, yes, this was UK Norfolk, wasn't it? I'm homing in and remembering, Mark. I might not be right with that, but it wasn't London. I think it was Norfolk. Hola, bon dia from your part of the world. Oh, here we go. Paul Richards, the Ode from the Algarve this morning. Greetings from the Saint Raphael in central Algarve for the last time. For now, I hope. Back to Harrogate, Yorkshire, then back to I see. Then back to Alvor in the Algarve in the new home. Okay, so yes, Saint Raphael for the last time. Just a little bit of an in-between home there by the sound of it. But back to the beloved Algarve. Alvor, you're going to have to come on and tell us about your process and what you've been up to, Paul, in home buying in the Algarve. Cheers, everybody. And thanks, Doc, as well there. Who else is here? Oh, Debbie Burton, talking about people doing good works. Debbie Burton is an extraordinary powerhouse of good works, but another empty message. They're probably too busy helping people. And the Bombeiros down in there in the Algarve to put in too big a message. But lots of love to you and good morning to you, Debbie, this morning. Jacqueline CDM, if you ask for duas douradas, you'll end up with 4 slices. Sounds like it's happened to you. And it's okay. So while we're on the subject, faux pas of the morning, I've got a green plate here, which is going to be interesting. So it looks like my toast is levitating possibly, and it's throwing everything all over the place. Yeah, look, a see-through plate. Now, the problem you've got, of course, I want to tell people who say, oh, it's only toast. It is not only toast, folks, as you'll see from the scale of the bread. Now, Bimbo, yes, Bimbo is a brand of bread in Portugal. And so you can come home and butter your own torrada, and that's what it is. It's a very thick. I'm going to show you how thick the bread is in a moment, but it's very thick bread. And I made the mistake of putting the toast on and then going somewhere else in the house this morning to going about my ablutions, multitasking in the morning. And when I came back, the butter, well, the toast was too cold to melt the butter, and this would never happen in no self-respecting Portuguese cafe. It still hasn't melted. It's quite a cool day today. So I've got the disappointment, like I say, first world problem, right? Boo-hoo, Carl. But just a little point of culinary order there. You got to get the butter on the toast as soon as it comes out the toaster, haven't you? At risk of burning yourself, of course. But this is what people talk about doorsteps in England, where I'm from. This is a doorstep. You can buy bread that thick. Look at it. I need to hold up I mean, that is thicker than a euro coin stood on its side. And that, my friends, is what this is pau de forma, formed bread, right? Not rustically thrown together rolls or baps or cobs or whatever you call them, bread cakes from your part of the world, Paul. But look at that for a piece of bread. That's what you would call a doorstep sandwich, right? My mouth is watering talking about food again. And it doesn't need to be because I've actually got the food right here. But there you go. That's torrada, and a little warning there from Jacqueline CDM. If you order duas torradas, it's 2 rounds of torrada. The buttered, what we call toast. It's not. I resent that when people say it's only toast. It's Portuguese toast, absolutely soaked in hot and runny butter. Ooh. Joel, Carl, why did the chicken cross the border? That's a good one. We'll leave that hanging there. Any other jokes? Very welcome this morning at these strange times on planet Earth, right? We do need a few funnies to keep us going. Garvo might be joining me this morning. I'm not sure. You know, he's a busy guy at the hotel. It's like the DIY Hotel California. You know, you can start work, but you can never stop. So if his schedule and grouting, etc., allows, and if he's not working on his angle grinder, he might join us this morning. And he is the master, of course, with the dad joke do dia. Okay, so why did the chicken cross the border? We'll find out in just a moment, I'm sure. Bon dia de Ron in Cascais are desperately looking for fellow pickleball players in the Lisbon Cascais area going through withdrawals. Now, I would like to be able to help with that. I just probably need to. Should we Google it now, everybody, and find out what pickleball is? Because I don't know, and I suspect most of the rest of us don't know either. Ron, chucking that in there like that. Pickleball. We could have a guess at it, couldn't we? Although I like the sound of it already. Pickleball is a paddleball sport similar to a racket sport that combines elements of badminton, which I love, table tennis, which I love, and tennis, which I'm indifferent about. But that sounds like an interesting combination, doesn't it? So what's used? A little bouncy ping pong ball, a shuttlecock, or a mixture of all of the above? 2 or 4 players use solid paddles made of wood or composite materials to hit it's a perforated polymer ball. Of course it is. Much like a wiffle ball. I don't know what that is either, a wiffle ball. Coming over here with all your American newfangled ideas, Ron. Is that where you're from? With 26 to 40 round holes over a net, the sport shares features of other racket sports, the dimensions and layout of a badminton court. Okay, so it's a hybrid of other sports, racket sports that we know and love. Okay, so only pickleball. There's the first question of the day on Ask Anything About Portugal from Ron there. If you're a pickleball player in the Lisbon or Cascais area, I mean, that's the place to ask, isn't it? Or you'd like to become one. Presumably, Ron, you're happy to teach people, and then you'll get some players and friends of the pickleball. Very good. Pickleball. It sounds like fun, doesn't it? Carl, check out Liberty Insurance here in Caldash. They offer you a great price. Need help? Just ask. So an ad there for Liberty Insurance. My heart is with Winsurance, Jacqueline, but I'm sure that's it's good, isn't it, to shop around anyway. So Liberty Insurance. Hopefully they don't take too many. See what I did there? But no, I imagine it's the freedom and the peace of mind that you get with Liberty Insurance. So there you go. There's an option in Caldash if you're looking for it. Oh, I see, for my car. She's right on it. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you very much, Jacqueline, for that. So Liberty Insurance there for my motoring insurance. You need someone who can help a foreigner, don't you, really? Mrs. T is loving the heat. The stockings are off and iced tea on the lawn. You know it's hot in England when Mrs. T's stockings come off. Thank you, Chris. Do give her my best regards, won't you? And I guess the oven's off as well in this heat as well. I mean, her pastry is out of this world, isn't it? And legendary around Devon and Cornwall. So presumably no baked goods in Mrs. T's house at the moment. She's just got the stockings rolled down to her ankles. She might have even taken off the furry boots in this heat, and the granny style overcoat, you know. So yeah, lots of love to Mrs. T and to you, Chris, this morning. Do you know what, Chris? It's funny you should pop in this morning. I was watching the video yesterday of you as the referee, while my mother-in-law gave me a bashing around the ring, as we say in boxing circles. Yes, it was that moment, that special thing you do, Chris, when we were working, when you were boxing coach and we had a boxing club, and the less experienced boxer, my mother-in-law in this case, was allowed to hit me. I did have a head guard on and some gloves, but she and I wasn't allowed. I was only allowed to defend myself, but she was allowed to go at me, and she did. I think she was letting off a bit of. She's using me like a stress ball, And I ended up on the floor. And if I remember rightly, you had to step in and stop her, pull her away. In fact, was it years of resentment being unleashed there? But happy times, Chris. Thank you for popping in this morning. What? Ana Lucia Pino Pereira is here, everybody. Morning. She's in Porto. Miserable couple of days here. Sun has run away. Yes, it's funny, isn't it? You've come from the UK, I think, and the sun is there, but not in Porto where you'd like it to be. That's interesting, isn't it? But fantastic news, Ana Lucia, and great, I'm sure, for you to be back here in other ways. Don't let the weather get you down. Bon dia todos from Jeff Jackson. Morning, Jeff. Any questions from you? You're often great with the questions. We've got a good one tomorrow night, actually, the webinar tomorrow evening. Will be Peter van Noonen, our buyer's agent, and he's a great guy to talk to, a cool Dutchman. I'd really enjoy hanging out and chatting and having a laugh with Northern Europeans, and Peter's one of them, and he's very knowledgeable about the areas, how to rent, how to buy in Portugal. So sign up for that webinar tomorrow night at the expatsportugal.com site on our events page. There you can find it. Oh yeah, we'll come back to that for the forum and see how Hank's getting on. Bondi Carl from Jacqueline Bender. Bondi, have to go out and walk the dog before it gets too hot. It's true, isn't it? We haven't really been together like this, have we, doing the show in the summer? Do we have to start at 7 in the morning to get ahead of the sun, do you think? Should I change the start time to 7? With voting in mind, says Annie Hamilton Gibney. Can we have a brief user-friendly rundown of the main campaign promises of the political parties to give us a clue as to who and what we are voting for? So that's a more of general election stuff, isn't it? Or are you talking about on a local level, Annie? And I'm going to have to leave greater and more seasoned local minds to come up with the answer for that. So that's a great question, though, on this Ask Anything About Portugal Day on Good Morning Portugal. So with voting in mind, can we have a brief user-friendly rundown of the main campaign promises of the political parties to give us a clue as to who and what we're voting for? I'll start that off. The two first things normally with voting, cynicism alert, I'll warn you now, are change. We're better than the people who are messing it up at the moment. You want change? We'll bring change. Did I say change? So yes, and pensa fora, is that right? Thinking no, what is it? Pensa fora caixa, thinking outside the box. I saw that as a political campaign. I was very pleased with myself for translating that, even if I didn't say it correctly. Pensa fora caixa, thinking outside the box. So yes, you can guarantee that a lot of these folks will be campaigning on a change ticket to be better than the last people, and around it goes. However, that said, and the cynicism out the way, if you are I was going to say, if you're a lover of your local politician, I guess that's one way to get ahead in politics. I didn't mean it quite like that. What I mean is, if you're a fan of a local politician, and people are in Portugal, there are civic leaders who are well loved because they actually do stuff and they get things built. And I know, there's also a lot of cynicism around politics and the corruption conversation at every level, and that's the same everywhere in the world, isn't it? Of course, to some degree or other. But there are popular politicians in Portugal, and we would love to celebrate them here. Actually, give us the blueprint, the model, the prototype of being a useful politician, certainly in these local elections. So, great question, Annie. Thanks for that. Mac 007, late to the party. Greetings from New Zealand. Good morning to you, Mac 007. How's I miss a money penny this morning? Pamela Smith, bon dia from Alcabasa. Stephen Wells, bon dia to you, Stephen. Hi, Pam. Hi, Stephen. Paul Richards, can you please PM the name of the insurance guy you interviewed and contact details? Thanks. Do you know what? I'm going to do better than that. I'm going to give you the exact link to go to because I need to find Hank's captain's log on the forum. And whilst I'm doing that, of course, I can give you the link to Nuno Mendes. Have you seen the movie along? Because I've signed up with Nuno myself, and he came to see us last Friday. He's a lovely bloke, he really is. And we were talking about insurance and the similarities between gambling and insurance, because it's all about probabilities, isn't it? And there's a crossover in the industries. And he also let slip that he is in the scouting movement in Portugal, which, again, is much celebrated, much loved, and an amazing part of Portuguese life. And he is going to be on camp. I don't know if that's the way we put it. We say it. You have to be careful how you use the word camp, don't you? But he is going to be in the great outdoors. And the reason why I ask if you have seen Along Came Polly, do you remember the scene where Ben Stiller? Well, the basis of the film is that he's a risk analyst, isn't he? And he's quite risk averse. And then along comes Polly, who's an easygoing, happy-go-lucky hippie girl. And she rocks his world, and he can't quite cope with going to restaurants of dubious hygiene and so on. And then and as a side note, as part of the plot as well, he's trying to ensure a guy who's a very risky guy who does a lot of extreme sports, an Aussie fellow, if I remember rightly. And the thing about Nuno Mendes, and I'll put the link in the comments now for you, Paul. Winsurance is the company. Nuno Mendes is the man. Also on Facebook, actually, you can find him there. So as well as being a very personable and person-to-person old school insurance broker, all about being able to meet him, personal relation. You can actually shake his hand, the conditions allowing, of course, restrictions allowing. They're all fully digitized as well. He was telling me, that they are at both ends of the spectrum. They are full on a digital company, but they're full on personal as well, in the old school way. But he is both of the guys in Along Came Polly. He's an extreme outdoor guy, and he is a risk analyst as well. So he's an unusual fella, and he's going to report to us live from a scouting camp in Portugal, I think in early September. So we're looking forward to having a conversation. He's going to be on the show every month now anyway, just as Gilda is, with the visa update. So you'll be able to ask questions of Nuno. But there you go. It's in the comments for you there, Paul. So Lion H, I'm recovering from the second vaccine shot. That was yesterday. Sore arm for now. Hope that goes all right. Yeah, people are complaining, hearing reports of how that affects people to some degree or other. How is it for you? Hopefully just a sore arm. With that. And wonderful fellow here. I was concerned yesterday that I hadn't read out your comment, or did I yesterday, Lonnie McLaughlin? But Bondi, I registered for Portuguese immersion classes in Porto starting next Monday. That is presumably the language rather than baptism or swimming or anything like that. Portuguese immersion classes. Sounds like it could be learning to swim the Portuguese way, or even as a baptism, as I say there. I'll let you know if I survive. I'm sure you'll be fine, Lonnie. How's it going for you in Porto? I'm looking forward to having a coffee with you one of these days. And when you get traveling around and about, you must come and see the Silver Coast. And talking of the Silver Coast, I wanted to share with you some videos. So I was in Leclerc yesterday. Leclerc, if you're so should we do it in all the European accents? I was in Leclerc if you're French yesterday. I was in Leclerc if you are British. I was in Das Leclerc if you're German. I won't do any more, but I think they're called Leclerc in Portugal and Portuguese as well. And I chanced upon a real estate agent, because it's a shop with lots of little concession shops by the entrance and exit. And I saw the most beautiful footage of Foz de Relho and San Martinho de Porto, drone footage. And I went in and I chanced upon a meeting with Vitor Canas, who's been in the real estate business for a very long time here and in America. And I got chatting to him. I said, can I show those videos in the winter? He said, help yourself. Typically Portuguese, typically easygoing. And we're going to hear more, I think, from Vitor and about real estate in the Silver Coast area. And I said to him, what's going on in Caldas? I hear a lot of American accents there. And he said, yep, something's occurring in Caldas for the Americans. It's on the list of places. So if you are American and you're looking for fellow Americans, Caldas is good consideration. And vice versa. If you're American and you're just trying to get away from Americans, probably give it a wide berth. But we will be showing those wonderful drone clips of San Martinho de Porto and of Foz, because it was stunning. I mean, even after nearly 4 years of being in Portugal and living in this area, seeing it from the air, I was agog again. Like, wow, I must go into the shop, and got chatting to Vitor. So stand by for more about that. And yeah, if you're American and you are looking for a hot spot with a few American expats. And Vitor was telling me, yeah, they had a big Thanksgiving and a 4th of July gathering in a local hotel. So if you think you might miss that and you want that, Caldas sounds like it might be a good place to investigate. But Lonnie, thank you for your message. Looking forward to meeting up with you, you legend, you living legend, you Lonnie. Good morning. Oh yes, melted butter on toast. But no, Debbie, it's torrada. It's not just melted butter on toast. I keep trying to point out. Hola, Bondi Carl, beautiful morning today. Isn't Philomena awesome? Let's just have a moment for Philomena's awesomeness. Yes, she is. She absolutely is awesome. Those election instructions are very easy. And she has sorted out our second. So she's a nurse as well. That's amazing. She's sorted out our second shot today as well. A Fat Peru is awaiting her later. Now, that's an interesting comment. And for those like Lonnie who are waiting for their immersion in Portuguese, a Fat Peru could be quite misleading, couldn't it? You'd be thinking, what on earth is a Fat Peru? It's a turkey, just in case. Yes, and that takes us back to Thanksgiving, of course, doesn't it? So Pete Bleach is your man. Would you consider yourself a turkey breeder now, Pete? And is that one of these wise markets you've researched and gone into? Is that what you've done there, mate? Is that what you've done? Is that you're breeding turkeys because you noticed that there was a bit of a lack of Thanksgiving turkey, and you might get orders from American expats all over Portugal? Well, I never. Pete Bleach may well be your man. And I'm immediately thinking of bleached chicken, of course, when you see Pete's name there. I imagine they're free range, no malarkey like that with Pete's fat birds. So Philomena's going to get one of those. And it sounds like if he is going into the breeding business, other people might be up for those as well. Interesting, Pete Bleach. Tell us more about your Fat Perus. Talking to our dear friend Thomas as well, who's sourced a Peruvian Japanese restaurant in Santarém, I think it is. And I was thinking to myself, what would you get? I mean, this is me asking things about Portugal now. Well, actually, it's about a restaurant in Portugal, but it's not Portuguese cuisine. It's Peruvian Japanese hybrid. Is that guinea pig sushi? I wonder. What other delights might there be in a Peruvian Japanese hybrid restaurant? Coming over to Portugal from New Zealand ASAP. And of course, I imagine you're waiting for conditions to allow that Mac 007 to semi-retire. We'll be calling on your advice in coming months. Please do. Cannot wait. P.S. The world's gone bloody mad. Well, it's true. I mean, no one would argue with that, would they? I mean, it really has, honestly. And I was thinking, part of the actually, what I uttered that very thought myself this morning when I was listening to some news about the Japanese Olympics and how some athletes have gone home already because they've tested positive. And I was thinking to myself, the Olympics in the pandemic, in Japan, and the lengths they're having to go to organize a pandemic Olympics. And it doesn't seem worth the trouble. I'm no disrespect to anyone who's involved in that. I could understand why Olympians must and want to perform and do their sport, but the conditions for it look like human madness to me. And I heard this, these players, these sports people have gone home because they've tested positive. And I was thinking, that's the world we live in, isn't it? They've tested positive, but that doesn't mean they've got COVID. So we've completely made a positive test mean that is the truth and reality of the condition you've got, which occurred to me. I mean, this is a very personal opinion, of course, and it's possibly going to cause ire among others. But we do live in a world, don't we, where the test is the thing rather than the reality being the thing. Hence the expression in health and medicine, if you're well, you just haven't had enough tests yet. And I think there's a lot of truth in that. And we do live in a world where we go on tests, don't we? And let's face it, the testing is by I think even by any scientific rigor is not especially reliable. But then we base very tangible things on quite intangible ideas like flaky test results, possibly. And these poor sports people have had to go home. And just to cut a long story short, that's why I was thinking the world has gone mad. All this testing we do for stuff. We live in a world of tests, don't we? Which are just a sign of the truth. They are just a resonance of the truth. They're not the truth themselves. The map is not the territory. Getting quite philosophical there. Andy from Portuguese. Carl, some worthwhile checks to do on the car. Brake and clutch fluids. You've lost me already. Tire pressures. The tires look good. I did to stop short of kicking the tires. I saw the car yesterday. Engine oil, coolant, and screen wash. The breakdown safety kit and spare tire tools if applicable. I'm going to be an alpha male this weekend, obviously, aren't I? I'm going to go out and do all of those. And I'm going to have to find out what and where brake and clutch fluids are. I'm ashamed to say. So torrada. One, torrada is usually 2 slices of bread. Yes, 2 rounds. Now, this is an interesting thing for people wanting to learn English. That in English is a round. You see, it's square, but they call that a round of toast. So each round is each piece. So 2 rounds, cut 2 to make 3 slices full of melted butter. Mouth-watering again. Eat the sides first. Yes, of course. Leave the soft inner side for last. Yes, tastes better at the end of the coffee. That is the way to do it. Absolutely. And I've obviously done that instinctively, like a Portuguese, because I call it the middle finger. And you can play Jenga with this stuff as well, can't you? If you did end up with 4 slices, you'd have the beginnings of a Jenga kit, which you could eat after playing. Maybe the loser of the Jenga or the winner has to eat all the toast. The chicken crossed the border because gasoline prices were cheaper in Spain. Boom, boom. That's not funny, is it? That isn't funny. That's kind of sad. But thank you anyway, Joel. Michelle, hello, Michelle. Love a country, not afraid of carbs. Yes, absolutely. Not just bread, but with plenty of butter on there as well. Good morning to you, Michelle. How are you doing? Lee McGrady, good morning, people. He says, Citizen McGrady there. Good morning, my people. Pau de Forma is the name also given to the old VW transporters in Portugal. What a lovely thing. Yes, because they are square, aren't they? And like a loaf of bread. Jeff Owen, greetings. Thanks for that, Jacqueline CDM. Greetings, Cape Town in the house. Cape Town in the house. Joke. Oh, here we go. How do you singe the ears of an idiot? This joke has changed since I was a kid. There is no national reference anymore, is there? What happened to humor? Liberty insurance is one of the cheapest you can find. I also recommend Caravela. Seguros is the current car insurance I'm using, the cheapest I could find. But is it the best, Joel? Or are they all? Because this is an interesting question and an important question. Is cheap okay? Or is it a matter of, buyer beware? What's the caveat emptor? Whilst it's the cheapest, are you losing a lot of features? Is that wise to go for the cheapest? I understand sometimes you do have to go for the cheapest if that's all the money you've got, but is there something to be gained from spending more and having other benefits, like a chauffeur? Ron, happy to teach the game. We're going back to pickleball now. Happy to teach the game to all willing to learn. How lovely. Game was invented in the 70s near Seattle, Washington, in the Pacific Northwest of US, where I'm from. Learned to play myself in France. I know what you mean when you say that. So that's great, Ron. And it sounds like it came out of the same games era as Invisible Frisbee, which is also a fantastic. Oh, well, Frisbee itself, a 70s phenomenon. And then I think probably it's the Bay Area, isn't it? When they were playing Inner Frisbee with no actual Frisbee, which is a great game to watch. Fiona and Simon, bon dia. Thanks for that, Ron. Top of the morning to you there from Fiona and Simon. Good morning to you. A lovely Kate yesterday. She had a fantastic Irish accent. She forever I've loved the phrase "careful now," and she's quite a spiritual person, is our Kate. And I jokingly said to her, have you read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now? Which I know is a bit Northern Irish, but can you imagine that in the bookshops of Ireland, in the spiritual section, the Power of Now? Bon dia, todos from Scorchio, Hertfordshire, UK. Heavy showers last night. Hopefully, after I'd watered it. Yep, that's always the way, isn't it? Every day here makes me more determined to move to Portugal. A little bit more of the world's gone bloody mad, as we heard earlier on. There from Ian. Let me just have another sip of tea. Before it goes cold. Cold butter on my toast and cold tea this morning. What is going on? First world whinge. Stand by. Yeah, it's cold already, but better than nothing. Small mercy. Thank you. Yes, the sun has gone up here in the north. It's going to come back down soon, though. Didn't move here for sunny weather in the north of Portugal. The Alto Minho. So we have a couple of representatives from the north of Portugal in this morning. Sir Lion H and Khadija there up in the north of Portugal. Not many questions. I think just community hanging out and having fun. Maybe everyone's feeling like a rest this morning, and I'm happy to go with that, quite honestly. Doreen Reyes, Bondi Alegria. I'm an avid tennis player. Never heard of, but I'm intrigued about pickleball, and I'm in Cascais. There you go. Boom! We've done it again. We've done it again. Connecting people up. That's what we love to do at Expats Portugal, with a new interest there. So there you go. Ron and Doreen, future pickleball champions of Portugal. Fantastic. Morning, by the way, Doreen. What sort of volunteer opportunities are available in Portugal? I hope Pam is still tuned in. I did an interview with Pam from Alcobaça. Jeff, you must watch that. But she will say more, I'm sure, if she's still here this morning. Is there a robust non-profit NGO sector as we have in the States? There absolutely is. Community life relies on voluntary associations. Let's look at the Bombeiros, for starters. They are volunteers, the firefighters. And if you go back to Monday when Gilda was here, go to the local association cafe. It's the lifeblood of the community, and it will often be volunteer based and belong to it'd be a kind of little NGO, a not-for-profit association here in Portugal, thinking of ways to give back and become involved in the culture and community. So absolutely, Jeff, you can do that. Food banks as well. That's what is it? Refood that Pam's involved in. I hear the ping of Garvo in the green room. So I'll bring him onto the screen now so we can work through these lovely comments and questions together. Garvo, good morning to you. Is it hot in Alvagra this morning?
It is a little bit on the warm side now. The sun's come out. I've just got to get you right here. Might be a bit echoey in here.
It is, but only because of the azulejos, the fine azulejos behind you, right? They look great.
Tiles, you mean?
Yes. The tiles. They do look very authentic and Portuguese, I have to say.
My handiwork, this is.
Seriously, is this the grouting that you did?
Tiling, grouting. Sorry, I'm in the annex at the moment. I've literally just come down from the ceiling in the kitchen next door. So if I find any paint on me, forgive me.
Covered in dust and paint and debris and detritus of the building work. Yeah, we are a bit echoey there, but I'm liking the vibe. You could be in Morocco, I think. You could be in a souk about to light up what are they called? Shisha pipe or something. I hope I'm not going to do that. How are you this morning?
Busy. Been doing the painting since about 6 o'clock this morning. So.
Oh wow!
And in fact, I'm just going to get my tea before it goes cold. 1 second.
Of course, he's got. Well, we'll just inspect his. He's in the annex. Look at those; they're beautiful, aren't they? Very good. And actually, it looks like it could be a floor as well, which is a bit freaky. He's going to lie down back on the floor now. Oh, he's got his big mug of tea. Fantastic. All right, so join me for these, Garva. I'm gonna mute between sections here because we've got a bit of an echo, but it's not a big problem. Okay, so yeah, we've done the NGO thing with Jeff Jackson. Garva might have something to add to that. My last sentence was purely political. Hadn't made that clear. What the crazy politics of the UK. I'll tell you a useful politician when I find one. That's the cynicism of a Portuguese person speaking there, Joe. Don't bother listening to politicians during campaigns. Just read the manifestos on their websites and you'll get a better idea of what they're planning, says Elra. Change, and more change. That's my own post about insurance. Ian Turner. That doesn't work in the UK. They have taken lying to an abstract art form, says Ian, on manifestos. Yeah, sometimes they do change what's in the manifesto, don't they, Gary? We've noticed that.
Oh God, yes, massively so. You can have this, you can have that, and yeah, we'll do this, and then when they get in power, that's it.
Yeah,
we said.
Yeah, the free flat screen TV we promised everybody and a laptop. Well, sorry, there's not enough money to do that now. Kate Gimblett's here. Mayo engineer came this morning to connect us to fibre. Yay! More fibre in your internet diet. Took one look, said the wooden pole was on. Oh no, said the wooden pole was on the wrong side of the road and left. I'm sorry, but that is very Portuguese, I have to say. Another company installs the poles, so no return date for installation. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Garvo, go on. He's got a similar story, I suspect.
I have a question. I have a question about fibre. Now, me being a bit of a techno no-no, really. If you have fibre installed, yeah, it obviously still has to go to some sort of a router or something when it comes in. So if you are elsewhere in the house, yeah, do you have plug-in points that you put things into, or does it do it wirelessly like the 4G that I've got?
I don't know. But I after all that,
that was even the wettest answer I've ever had.
Is what's behind your question? How that's you got all singing, all dancing fibre. Yet by the time it gets to what you're using, it's going back down copper wires and other primitive technologies.
The system I'm using now, what this runs on, it's a 4G system. So I have a router in the house, and it shoves signals all over the place. So there's no cable and don't plug into anything. The one main thing is in the lounge upstairs. But if you have fibre, it's obviously going to do the same thing. But do you need to get the cables to wherever you are and plug in there? Or does that then do it wirelessly? And if so, does it affect speed? You see where I'm going?
I do see where you're going with that, and I still don't know. But I've got.
I'm off for a swim in a minute to say I am. You're pushing me today. You're pushing me.
Are you glad you came? And I know it's interesting. Peter Van Noonen, I'm talking to tomorrow night. I think, was it him or was it Jerry? But somebody had a run-in with the pole installation company who wanted to put a pole in. So instead of putting 5 poles in, they put 4 and then draped it across the swimming pool. And whoever it was said, no, put another pole in and do it properly. I'm not having that. So you can argue, and these arguments do take place. So be careful, Kate, with that, where they want to cut corners and put the poles in. But I mean, it's an interesting conversation to be having anyway. The idea of having poles put in to get a telephone signal to your house—that's amazing. At all that happens. Ian, okay. I've noticed that when living there, it was funny because the Portuguese, at least in my reality, see the English as examples of good conduct and properness. Absolutely. And here you see on your screen two upstanding pillars of the community in front of you. Just got Philomela's email, and I see on September 26th we can vote for the local mayor, town hall, city hall staff, the Assembleia de Freguesia, that's the parish council, and Assembleia Municipal, the municipal. So parish and town councils is what you're voting for. Sadly, me and Mr. HG are off for a staycation in Portugal that week. Why would we want to go anywhere else? Well, that's a great sentiment. Going to mute Garv up for a moment whilst I share this with you. Okay, so local elections. This is what Philomena's been sending around. So you folks who are now in Portugal as residents and you'd like to take part in the elections that I just mentioned there, parish and town. Let's just find out from Philomena how to go about doing that. Dear friends, this almost sounds like a political speech. Today, I'm writing to you because I would like to inform you that you can take part of the local elections on the 26th of September all over the country. All residents in Portugal, that's the key thing there, not citizens, but residents in Portugal, will have the opportunity to choose their local mayor and town hall, city hall staff. Their Assembleia de Freguesia, the parish council, and Assembleia Municipal, the municipality council as well. You can go to your local Junta de Freguesia and register so that you can vote on the 26th of September. The election always takes place at the main local school and from 8 in the morning till 8 at night. The deadline to register is Monday, the 26th of July. So not long then, you just need to take your passport ID and your residence permit with your address on it. This way, you can be an active member of your local community and decide who should be responsible for the decisions that will also affect you. Awesome stuff. Oh, Garvo's gone outside there while I was looking away. That was a really good effect.
I thought it might kill the echo, so...
You're a good man. So I'm seeing another aspect here because the question that might come up is Gary available for painting and tiling and grouting anywhere else? No, it's a firm no. Because I said it was a bit like the Hotel California, the man cave there. You can start, but you can never leave. You've got a lot to do, right? I'm
getting too old for this, Carl. I'm 57 now, so come on. 60's knocking on the door. Hanging off the side of these buildings, painting the stuff last year. I mean, I was 56 then, so I could do it. 57.
You're drawing the line. You're drawing the line, everybody. Okay, but he might give advice. He might be a consultant, if not an operative. Bom dia de Zonig Maastricht from Magdalena. Can anyone recommend a secure self-storage facility in the Algarve, please? Okay, put that to the community. Neither me or Gary will know that one. That used to be the case, at least on the surface, but no longer. We have an ongoing disaster, says Ian. Oh, this is properness and gentlemanliness in the UK. Look to the citizens, not the government, for that. Bon dia from a beautiful Peña Garcia from Sarah Ferreira. Good morning, Sarah. Good to have you here. And Doreen Rose, please contact me on the forum page and we can chat out about the game and possible meetup. Do you know what pickleball is, Gary? It's come up this morning.
Pickleball? No idea. It sounds
Pickleball.
something to do with something onions or something. I don't know.
Or eggs. Yeah, you throw pickled eggs. Apparently, it's a pub game, and you get pickled eggs. The smaller, the better and easier. And one person stands with their mouth open. It's like darts, but it's played with pickled eggs instead. Pickleball. And Ron's looking for people to join his team. You're up for that?
Okay. Yeah, well, if it's free food, that's
It's the game with free food. Washed down with a pint. There's similarities of certain behaviours from Brits that makes me wonder otherwise, says Joel. He's been watching The Man Cave. He is The Man Cave. About COVID testing, did the PCR test ones, and that also was the last time for me. Very bad experience and stuff with the consequences for at least 30 minutes after. Is that where you have the probe stuck up your hooter? Had to park the car, could not drive. You had to take a 30-minute test and park a 30-minute rest and park up the car after a PCR test. It does sound like the probe there, doesn't it? Just man. Hey, it's much better to spit on a piece of paper. Hey, I've been struggling to open a bank account here. I don't have my visa yet, but do you need a certificate of residence? No, you don't. That's an easy one. Just you don't need to be a resident to open a bank account. I have used Millennium and Urabic, and they're both fine, as well as Revolut. Gary, do you have a recommendation for banks?
Well, I did use Millennium because there was a local bank in the town, but they've shut it and it's all gone online. But they've been generally pretty good. I have to give them the due. They've got all the things that you need. There may be other options, I don't know, but I'm quite happy with them. So there's my recommendation.
As banks go, they're all right. That's the caveat in it. But all banks are muchness, aren't they? And all they want to do is, like, in Portugal, charge you a little bit for looking after your money each month, which might be €8, something like that, and then sell your insurance products on top or make loans. That's how banking works these days, isn't it? Hola, Bondi, Good Morning Portugal team and viewers. Live your best life and enjoy every second of it. Capricorn 12. Good advice. When life is going well, stop, pause, and really take it in. Mindfulness really helps. Have you been on the pickled eggs already, Gary? It's very windy there.
Wind, can I? Echoes, wind. Let's go down further down on this, see if we can get out the wind.
We're getting a tour. He's going to give us he's looking for a wind break now. Isn't it pleasant to have some distance from UK politics? Every week seems to bring a new low. And it's good to be in a country where you don't understand the politics is my philosophy as well. Have a guest visiting and we'll be roaming about Portugal for a week or so. But we'll be in touch when able. Obrigada. Oh, that's beautiful. And we've got a lovely view of the blue sky of Alviagra there as well. Fantastic. Catherine, it'd be lovely to have distance.
Wrong way into the wind.
He's going into the wind. Be careful, Gary. Unfortunately, I'm stuck for a while, says Ian. Khadija, I would tell the story of my. You know what you can do? You can put a sock over your microphone. I would tell the story.
That's not going to work.
I'll mute it up and you can just watch that while I'm reading the comments out. I would tell the story of my comment to a fellow American in Dublin during Samhain, Halloween, when she asked our shuttle driver if they would be celebrating Thanksgiving there next, but you would kick me off the show. Amazing. Thanks for that, Khadija. Has anyone looked at leaseplan.com for, Jeff, what's it for? Mark Rigby, Bondi from an overcast this morning, Pavor de Vajim. So a lot of interesting weather and some great interiors. I think he's going into the man cave, everybody. Jeff Jackson, has anyone looked at leaseplan.com for a car? Okay, no, I haven't. Often see it ever since mentioning lease plan out loud. It's on my look. We're in the hallowed hall of the man, not the hall, the man cave itself. Didgeridoo on the wall and his favorite bushwhacker hat. Amazing. They seem to have all in offers for people who just want a car to drive and not something else too. I think it looks fairly comparable to the best of the higher prices. But I would like to hear from others actually who've used leaseplan.com. The safety of the man cave. No, I'd like to say there's no wind in the man cave, but that's not actually true. Michelle Lemina, does anyone know what Fontinha in Porto is like? Joel, please, a quickie answer on that. Lots of volunteering opportunities for you, Jeff. There's a PDF on the forum. I have now been at ReFood for 5 years. So there you go, Jeff. That's a great organization to get involved in. Carl, invest in a little recording kit to help put together our Growing Old Disgracefully course of videos. We'll be starting that this afternoon. So, Garvo, Ian and I have been talking about these Growing Old Disgracefully sessions, Keep Fit and so on. Are you up for that? You were saying I'm getting to 57 now. I'm not as young as I used to be. Will you join us on that? Could be fun.
Well, you know me, I'm always up for a laugh. I'll give it a go. If I
go.
hurt myself, then just crawl off the side of the screen.
Just limp away quietly. Okay. Well, we can certainly find new applications for push-ups and so on, couldn't we? And maybe reinterpret these old sort of PE moves in a new and exciting way, befitting the elders that we are, involving pickled eggs. Good morning, Gary, man of many talents, from Fiona and Simon. He is, isn't he? Video maker, dad joke purveyor, and painter and grouter of this parish. Your tiles are being loved by Ian. I like those as well. Are they from Leroy's?
Where did we get them from? No, they're from a local shop. I've been trying to keep stuff local lately and buy stuff from the local sort of hardware shops.
Good man.
I was a bit worried about them when we put them up because I thought, I'm not sure I'm going to like these because they didn't look good when you put a first row in.
Yeah.
As you get more and more rows up, they started to look quite nice. So I thought I'll go with it anyway.
I'm very Portuguese, very authentic, very Portuguese.
I can't take them down, really, can I, sir?
You can't take them down. They're stuck up there like the proverbial to a blanket, I suspect. Bondi Carl and Garvo. Very nice to see. Who is this guy?
It must be a new guy. I haven't seen him.
FD Devane. It rings a bell, but
he sounds like a special agent, doesn't he? FD Devane.
FD Devane, special agent, missing in Algarve. Good morning, Frank.
How you doing, Frank?
We love you, man. It was a historical comment, and the driver snickered. The lady seemed to have no idea what I was referring to. Amazing, eh? Kate, Ian, sorry, I just realised you haven't escaped from COVID Island yet. Just need to rub it in like that, isn't it? It's quite an adventure to move here. Love it here, but it does have its frustrations, e.g. a failed fibre installation this morning. She's going to have to stay with dial-up, isn't she, for a little bit longer? Wireless, says Andre. Yep, wireless is the way forward. The fibre comes in. Oh, here we go. The fibre comes into a Wi-Fi router. It's wireless from there, Gary. Does that answer your question?
Well, okay. Here's the next question. You've got fibre coming in, but when it goes wireless, do you lose speed or something?
You must.
I'm getting wireless now. I'm getting wireless now from the one I'm on using here.
Yes.
So if it's fibre, does it just transmit a faster speed? I don't know.
You're right. It goes to 4 or 5G that you can select, I think. But it will slow up. Yeah, it is like having the mains water to your house, isn't it? And then having a domestic spur off that. And inevitably, if you wanted to fill your swimming pool up, you'd ideally want to take it straight from the mains, wouldn't you, on the same bore pipe? Yes. But I think that's the analogy, is that you end up with a compromise unless you've got a device that can take a fiber optic connection to it, which some do, right?
Yes, I think so. You can still have a plug-in somewhere, can't you? So you could go into like a plug-in socket, I suppose.
You might have to have a fiber optic matrix with little glass, fiber optic glass cables coming away from it. Talking of DIY, which you do, I drilled through a fiber optic cable and thought to myself, "Oh, that's no big deal. I'll just tape it together." And you can't, can you? It's not like an old-fashioned aerial cable, or get the soldering iron out. And I looked at how they connected it, and you really need specialist gear, don't you, to make a fiber optic connection? It's quite extraordinary.
Oh, yes, because it's loads and loads of little strands, isn't it? So each one is carrying an optical image.
Yep.
I mean, theoretically, sort of put them back together, but then your screen might be like.
What makes sure you've got all the little fibres correctly attached to each other? Bondi Carl, lovely, easy to get in and out of chair, matching your tiles. Is it a Shackleton? I have an alien spaceship looking boosters for the house. I'm not sure what that means. But
is he been eating them mushrooms again? He's been out around the film eating them mushrooms again.
Because where he's from, it's not just famous for the cherries, it's famous for the mushrooms up there. Give it a rest, Pete. Come on, it's only flipping 10 o'clock. The fibre connection goes to the box in your house. The box connects to a home router. So there we go. Thank you, Paolo Mello, for that. You have to install cables around the house to the router to maintain the internet speed, but even fiber is only from the street to your house. Yes, that's also very interesting, isn't it? So fiber is just like 10 meters from an old box outside the house that's got 2 tins and string in it. And then you've got fiber coming in and a nice looking little unit on the wall, and then back to your primitive connection to your ZX Spectrum. So there you go. We've got to the bottom of that finally. I can answer Garth. We did. Look, we've done it, Andy. The fiber has the floodgates have opened. The fiber floodgates have opened. The fiber has a router which still transmits Wi-Fi. 5G is super fast. You can always add plug points and a switch if you want these. Okay, so I think that kind of adds up with what we're saying there. If you've got fiber coming into your house, you can distribute as you wish, be it wireless using a wireless router. So many nerds here this morning. Oh, with traditional white LAN. Wi-Fi LAN, I think that would be. Anyway, you need some kind of modem to translate the signals in the end. Yep. Is the this FD Devane bloke's on again? Is it the Azalasia effect, or is Garvo looking younger? There you go. You see?
Strong light comes through the window, it like blends all the wrinkles into a sort of high-powered bleachy effect. So,
no, I think this is. I think. Well, look out for it on the Kardashians, because there will be probably on Instagram quite soon. Word will have got around, and you'll see just lots of pictures of Kim Kardashian against Azalea tiles, using the Al Viagra method of looking of longevity and youthfulness. Your fiber router, okay, Pam, your fiber router provides a Wi-Fi network in your house, or you can have a wired connection to your computer. There you go. I think there's probably 27 more answers to come, Gary. What have you done? We have 1 gig to the router and 250 megabytes worth. See, that's what happens. It does go from big bore to small bore, doesn't it?
That seems what's happening there. Yeah, but those figures, I'd be happy with those because that's better than what I'm getting now. So,
okay.
What's Peter saying? I haven't got my glasses on, sir.
Peter is awesome too. Oh, this is Peter von Noonan. We can thoroughly recommend him and marvelous Alice, his wife, for any help you need settling into Portugal. So, Peter von Noonan, nice third-party recommendation there. I'll be having.
What happened to Peter's turkeys? There was something, some drama with Peter's turkeys going on.
A turkey drama. Come on, Pete. So, answer the questions. Are you now a turkey trader? And what happened? What was your recent turkey drama? Did they go truly free range and end up in town or something like that? And that would be so funny, wouldn't it, for the locals to see the new expat wrangling his turkeys into his car, into the back of his hire car, or whatever, to get them back to the new Quinta. Fiber is okay. Thank you.
He had the stalk, didn't he? He had the magnificent stalk, and now he might have the road gobblers.
Whatever next. So actually, that's so. What are you saying when you're driving past Fundao on the main road? It says, home of the giant stork and massive gobblers.
That's it.
Fundao welcomes you. Fiber is disseminated from a route. So this is why we should only do this once a month. What was it last time? The blessing of the helmets. I think it was yes. Last time you here. Okay. The speed. Oh no. The speed is fantastic here when installed in a 2-floor house. You might need a booster on the floor below or above the one where you place the main router. Okay, thank you for that, Kate. Thanks for moving, Garvo. We get to see more of the Al Viagra Palace. It's true. This lovely Contiki wood finish down there. Gary, known for his wood in Al Viagra. One of these days, one of these days, I'll come by and we'll do a proper barbecue. Can
I just grab the screen for a second here, because this is part of the plan. Part of the plan, right? I'm doing the annex up and the kitchen. We're almost there now, and my plan was our beloved Owen was possibly going to come and do some cooking for us live on the show. If I can get him to do that, and if we can get Frank to come down as well, join the party, boys.
I'd watch it. I'd watch that for sure.
I think we need some live cooking, don't we? So just to learn a bit about
absolutely. Oh yes. Actually, while we're on the subject, let's go to Alyssa's chicken recipe. So Frank said, and we're going to go past the 10 o'clock threshold. It has to be done this morning. One of these days, Gov, I'll come by. We'll do a proper barbecue in that outdoor churrasco of yours. Proper meat, no tofu sticks on the barbie. I tell you what, I had a terrible tofu experience the other day. Mrs. M's partial to a bit of tofu, right? And it was,
Did it end in flatulence?
it ended in what?
Did it end in flatulence?
No, it ended in pre-flatulence because I was cooking some steak for me and Donna J. And the kids like a bit of steak as well, and Mrs. M likes a bit of seitan, or tofu, or these substitutes for or not substitutes. That's that, some people it's a substitute, some people it's a meal in itself. But she bought these. They were like marinated tofus. It's tofu and basil. Frank's stomach is probably turning at this point. And they come in a very appetizing plastic. It's like a condom. It's like tofu in a condom with basil inside it. And it had gone past its sell-by date, and I opened the bag of tofu whilst I was doing a bit of prep in the kitchen, and I did a lateral slice across the tofu to make it appear a little bit like a slab that I could fry like a steak. And then we were carried on talking, and there was this terrible smell in the kitchen, and I think one of the kids came in and said, "My kids have got this most amazing sort of description." The other day, for some reason, one of them was moved to say, "That smells like a million-year-old egg." And I don't know what they were referring to, and I'd rather probably not say. But they came in and said another classic like that. This smells like a 1,000-year-old dinosaur poo or something. I remember thinking, what is that smell of sewage in here? And this piece of, I tracked it down. This piece of tofu had gone a couple of weeks past its sell-by date, and it was otherworldly. It should have really crawled on its own to the compost bin. It was disgusting.
To the compost heap.
Yeah, yeah, like something from Alien. The tofu's on my face. That's Frank's worst nightmare, isn't it? A piece of tofu laminated, it was laminated actually, but marinated with basil, laminated in plastic, a life of its own, and then it leaps on his face and he can't remove it. Anyway, yes, great idea. Owen, Frank, barbecue, brilliant. And let's have a look at what we're about it. Let's look at a chicken recipe from our friend Alyssa, who has been sharing a few of these now. She's in the UK, but these are her traditional Portuguese recipes. We did tomato rice the other day. And unfortunately, this is before and we don't have an after picture. But there we go. The chicken is looking a bit uncooked there, but you can see it's going to taste really good, can't you, from that? And just to let you know, this is for the frango asado lover. That will be the asado. Is that fried or baked? It's baked, isn't it? Try this, and you won't. I mean, that's obviously baked, but I thought asado meant fried. Try this. You won't need to search for another churrasquera in the area. Oh, no, you can't not go to your local churrasquera. I will post the recipe in the comments box step by step. This is my own Portuguese barbecue chicken from scratch, including the sauce. Oh, yeah. So here we go. Get an old Portuguese alentejo bread, obviously from Tesco's. Can I have some Portuguese alentejo bread, please? Remove the crust and cut in cube slices. Fry the bread cubes in a little vegetable oil. So you're going croutony already. Once fried, put aside and let it cool. In a barbecue fire grill, 4 large tomatoes cut in half, 2 onions cut in half, 3 red peppers, 3 green peppers, 2 yellow peppers. Grill the veg like you're grilling your meat. The intention is to get the vegetable. I didn't do this on purpose. I did a little bit. The intention. He's gone. The intention is to get the vegetables for a smoky taste. I can't even see him. I'm reading the recipe, and all I can do is hearing your puerile laughter in the background. Once the veg is grilled, peel the skin off.
You got me this time.
Peel the skin off.
Just the way you said it.
It's
like you do all the time.
I haven't finished yet. Peel the skin off the peppers, but don't wash your veg. Just peel them and place them in a blender. Oh, add the bread fried cubes, a little bit of lemon juice, and 5 cloves of raw garlic. Oh, and a few bits of chili flakes. Blend everything for 3 minutes. This is a barbecue sauce and a half in it. Add more olive oil to the sauce until the consistency is not too liquid nor too thick. Add a pinch of rock salt, black ground pepper, one small calice of whiskey. What's that? One whiskey in the barbecue sauce. A teaspoon of sugar, a little bit of sweet paprika, cinnamon, and fresh coriander. Take it to the blender again, and don't do the blender joke, Gary. And for another 3 minutes until a decent consistency to to spread over the chicken. We haven't even got to the chicken yet. Get a free-range chicken, cut in half, open and crush with your hand. Sounds like spatchcock, Gary, to me. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it looks very interesting. Looks lovely. I think Elisa could be our Portuguese Nigella.
I think couldn't she?
She's very intelligent, very attractive lady. She's got all the
she's got it going on with Cooking with Elisa. Yes, absolutely. I could see her next to what's that lady who on the shows there? I used to watch her all the time when I first got to Portugal. She is like the Nigella on TV there, and she wears 50s fashions, and I can't remember her name.
Philippa Gomes.
Philippa Gomes. She's amazing, isn't she? I can see Alyssa could do that easily. Okay,
easily.
Back to the spatchcock that you're crushing with your hand. Oh dear. Okay, I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this whole sentence again. Get a free-range chicken, cut in half, open, and crush with your hand the bones by making pressure on the bird until you hear the crack. Spread a little of rock salt over the bird and the salt. You blend it all over it. Yes, smother it in your sauce. The color should be the same as my picture above. Let the bird marinate for a few hours in the fridge to absorb the flavors. There you go. Your own Portuguese barbecue chicken with piri sauce. Enjoy. On to the alcohol.
How sensual was that? God.
You're right. She is. She doesn't even know it. She doesn't even know she's doing it. And that's what's so attractive about this, isn't it? I always add either cognac or whiskey to this recipe. The sauce is amazing if you leave the bird soaking for a few hours. If you can't get the bread or the grips of quantity, use maizena flour. Oh, that's corn flour, isn't it? Used widely available in any supermarket to thicken your sauce. If you have bread, use the bread instead. Just a little more work to fry. Use organic charcoal, very commonly used in Portugal. Another essential for taste and non-toxic. Ideal for cooking food. And if you can add wood, even better. Mix it both. Grill your frango over it. What makes it?
I'm gonna go grill my frango.
What makes a difference is the raw products and the sauce and the smoke. Oh, fantastic. Be creative and keep trying until you perfect your own recipe like I did. Never ever buy frango from electric churrasqueiras. Yeah, it's fair point. The taste is completely different. Good quality charcoal and good quality wood is the key. It's been a while since I did barbecue chicken, but when I have sauce left over, I always put it in a glass container and keep it in the fridge for the next time. Use if you cook another barbecue within 1 month. So there you go. And I can imagine Linda saying there, Gary, what is this your special sauce in the fridge? I've told you about that. So keep it in the man cave where it belongs. Oh, Alyssa, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. I think let's go back to fiber connections, shall we? Because there's a few more comments about Gary's fiber connection. Let's see, where did we get to with that? Love Garvo's tiles. That was a while ago, wasn't it? Fiber connection, routers, wireless LANs. Oh gosh, that was ages ago. Okay. Our mayor, okay, so no tofu sticks, right back up to date. Our mayor in Alcobaster is quite good, gets lots done and keeps us updated with what is going on. So there you go. Yeah, better. Do you know your mayor and civic officials? Have they come round pressing the flesh?
No, not personally. I haven't seen them. I know of them.
Right.
I really don't understand the politics here. Would I vote? Not until I know a bit more, really, because I might be voting for the local Nazi party or something by mistake.
Well, because you like the look of the bloke. You like the look of the bloke on the picture. He looks all right. Yes, and then you're the only one who's voted for him, and you made a friend for life. And he comes around to, I've come to sit in the man cave with you. Lol, Garvo, plenty of life left in you still. Our impressive gate is being built by a 68-year-old and his sprightly, youthful 62-year-old builder's mate here at 7 a.m. every morning. I mean, that is amazing, isn't it? And I imagine they have a bottle of wine every lunchtime as well. Jim White, Bondi from Baltimore. Go to YouTube and enter what is pickleball. Lots of videos to explain. Yeah, okay. Sorry, we had a bit of a laugh at pickleball's expense earlier on, but Gary, you probably need to get up to speed on that. And don't start chucking pickled eggs around in the local pub. Hola, bon dia. Thanks for the great info on this channel. We use Gilda and we'll be in Portugal on the 18th of September. All approved. Clifford Whitaker, fantastic news. And we love this. That, you know, since we started, Gary, and you were here right from the early days, we didn't have many conversations or comments like that. And every week now, we seem to be welcoming people in, don't we? You say, you know, we're on our way or we're here now. It's so lovely to be part of this.
It is lovely because the audience has expanded to encompass, well, the whole world by the looks of it. And that's really good. From little acorns, huge oak trees grow, don't they? So that's good.
Did you think when you first saw my little acorns, did you think there would be growth there?
I thought there was the potential. They look cute. I thought there's plenty of growth left in these.
Yes. My dear Carl Garvo, just back from my morning stroll, whereupon a few fruits fell in my pocket. Oh, yes. Nudge, nudge. Me and my boy, we used to do drive-bys as well, actually. And I said, okay, roll down the back window, and then we'll just drive past really slowly. Get that lemon there. Oh, great fun. I think the best way to determine the quality of a bank or other business is how they handle problems. I received outstanding service at Millennium, solving an ATM card problem. Joel Santos, a bank employee, stayed after the bank closed to resolve my issue, working with me for over an hour. Wow. So another vote for Millennium there. He also showed me how to reduce the bank fee by opening a savings account, which reduced the fee to €4 instead of 8. So a nice little bit of intel there. Thank you very much, Lonnie. Frank, this was ages ago. Andre Tatoro, a very good Andre like that. Fontinha, says Joel, is the downtown of Porto. This is for Michelle. Plenty of stairs there for exercise and plenty of pubs there. Usually that's the regular tourist trap. Oh, okay, so it's where the port tours are and where people presumably stumble down those steps, and the A&E or the emergency room knows why people have arrived at certain times of the day and night. There's also a couple of hostels there, very picturesque. I've been there, actually. I didn't know it was called Fontinha. Wireless is slower than wired, Ian. We're still on that. Nice one. I leave for a bit and the buds forget me. Oh, come on, Frank. Just a bit of bants for you this morning. We love you. You know that. And we can't wait for a get together at some point. Small correction is near the tourist traps. Okay, cheers for that, Joe. Hola, bon dia from California. TP Larson's here, everyone. If a man would like to have a tailored suit made, are there places that do that in Portugal? There absolutely are. Have you had a suit made since you've been here, Gary?
I haven't had the occasion to wear one, and I don't know whether they deal in like tents.
You're just going to go to what's that place next to Leroy's that sells the tents? Decathlon.
Decathlon.
Go to Decathlon and get a pop-up tent to wear to the next wedding you go to.
I'll have the blue one, please. That looks nice on them.
So yes, that's the 3-berth tent, sir. Yeah, perfect. Yes, I don't know. I think that's a Joel sort of question. And also Pete seems a sort of English gentleman who might have found a tailor as well as a turkey.
I can see Pete getting himself a tweed jacket
with a pocket square and a pocket square, a proper hat, measured. Yeah, very good. And a pipe. Of course, for his mushroom. With wireless, you always lose speed. A cable connection is always faster than wireless. Yes, and we have Mayo fiber coming. I mean, from the router, we have a cable. We're cabled. We don't take any chances here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Stephen Wells is saying, what is he saying? Where are we? I lost the comments again. All this revelry this morning. He's giggling. The Wi-Fi router to laptop will always be impacted by the building you're in. Think walls, etc. Yeah, and there are some thick walls in Portugal, especially in the old houses. So worth checking. It's not the limiting factor before you do anything. Cheers, Stephen. If your hardware supports it, you can lay fiberglass cables in your house too. But laptops or PC usually need the RJ45 connection. Matthias, they're so specialist this morning, which is copper cable. There you go. And do you want to do this one, Gary? Who is this that's just joined us on YouTube?
Because I'm on my pad.
Likely story. Leaving that one to me. Joafutidin. Hello to you as well, Joafutidin. Carl, did you just have a flashback? I did. It's Gary. Blame Gary. The turkeys are absolutely lovely. We have 16 and 2 geese. Garvo, there'll be one winging its way to you. That's going to take a while, if that's literally speaking. Call me the Bernard Matthews of Fundal. Looks like I'll be giving them all away. So he's gone into turkey farming, good and proper there. I bet that's a bun fight though. If he's involved in the mating of turkeys, turkey breeding, there's going to be feathers flying and all sorts there, isn't there?
What he does in his own time is his own business, isn't it?
Really?
Out there in the backwoods.
Bernard Matthews. Quick question. If I move from Germany to Portugal, what kind of visa will I need? And how's the issue of language? Well, if you are a German passport holder, you won't need any visa at all. You can move freely under the Schengen and EU rules, agreements, which is something British people, in case you hadn't heard, it's something British people recently gave up with this thing called Brexit. Wireless connections are faster. The shorter is your distance to the Wi-Fi router and the other way around. Okay. That was a question. That's the question that keeps on giving, Gary, this morning from you. Tofu, that's one way to die of hunger. Another fan there. From Germany to Portugal, being a German citizen, you don't need any visa. There you go, says Paolo. I just have to register at the local Camera in Portugal. There you do. You just register at the local town hall. Any problems with the fire on the A8? Didn't know about that. Fogos.pt is the place to check that out. So I didn't know about that. Hope all is well there, and the bomberos have got that under control. Marinated tofu in the condom. No discussion required.
Sounds delicious, doesn't it?
It sounds like the stuff of stagnites, doesn't it? You know, and here's the catering. Sardo is roasted. Thank you, Pamela, for that. Nothing replaces a churrasquera, and Nando's is definitely nothing like a good frango de churrasco. Thank you, Elra. Well said. But if it's all you can get, you know, fair play. But if you buy a Nando's chicken, it's cost you like, what, 15 quid or something, doesn't it? And you can get, if you go to your local, if you spend 15 quid in your local churrasquera, you're going to get migash, you're going to get chips, you're going to get a couple of bottles of beer, bottle of wine, and €5 change. Does this marinade work on beef curds? Enough of that. Someone always has to go and go too far, don't they?
Come on, we can't criticise this morning, can we?
Yeah, that's true. Kettle black there. Well, as far as visas, you'd have to check with SCF for requirements. If you're German, you're fine. If you're coming from elsewhere, it's probably the D7, could be the D2. Annie, hello, lovely Annie. Morning, Carl. Hope all is well in your world. It is. We've had such a laugh this morning, and it often happens when me and Garvo get together in a virtual man cave surrounding here. Pouncing enjoyed that, I think. Unless they're laughing at all the wealth of Wi-Fi information this morning. I don't know. Kate, Peter Bleach, do you slaughter your Perus? That's a very personal question, isn't it? Do you slaughter your gobblers yourself, or are they pets? 16. I think the money's on slaughter there, isn't it? 16 turkeys as pets. It's quite a specialist. It's a lot of turkeys. You said it. Good quality wood is essential. That's what he's got on his business card. There are tailors and shops such as Boss, Saccorbros, Armani. So you've got the high end off the shelf there but those guys will make an alteration to make it fit. A couple of Bulldogs clips and some gaffer tape here and there. But I think that gentleman was talking about a specific tailoring service. Garvo is the mayor of Alvagra. You could get away with that, couldn't you? Maybe that's what we'll do for Christmas. We'll get you one of those title certificates, Lord Alvagra. Carry on barbecuing. Oh, matron. Yes, it was a bit this morning, wasn't it? Dudes, I'm 63. And I know I could outrun or outbuild a lot of you youngsters. That's the spirit, isn't it? Khadija, 63, yeah. And in fact, we could have the Man Cave Olympics, couldn't we? With a few old giffers taking each other on and showing the youngsters the way to go at some point. We will be, or a somber note here, we will be slaughtering them ourselves, Kathleen. Kate. Wow. Thank you, Joel, for the info on Fontinha. If you go to your local Rancho group /show, they all know good tailors as they get their outfits made at them. What is that then? Is that bullfighting, the Rancho? And you could end up with some really tight black trousers, a little bolero, couldn't you? That's a good look, isn't it? But you might get jeered at in the street by the anti-bullfighting lobby, of course. You could. I'm a vegan bullfighter. Please, I eat tofu from a condom. Don't
wrestle with the Swede.
Germany is EU, no visa needed. That is, of course, if that person is a German citizen. Check to apply for the non-habitual residency tax regime as well. Language you should learn, Matthias, in Amsterdam. Some good advice there. I'm impressed. Maybe I should put in an order for Thanksgiving. Are you around the Caldash terrain? Turkey trading going on in the comments this morning. Stephen, if you're ever short of content on the show, just ask an IT question. Everyone, it's true, isn't it? Carl, I think we've nailed it, to be fair. Carl, I have sent you a picture of my Wi-Fi boosters. It's getting really personal now. What do you and Garvo think? Kathleen, I'm sure we can sort something out. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, with a bit of turkey trading going on there for Thanksgiving. Thanks for the response. I'm a foreigner with a normal family resident permit that I renew every 3 years. Okay, so you'll have to do the same. It's going to be the same process in Portugal, unless you become a citizen of Germany officially. Then you will obviously have and check that your foreigner permit doesn't extend to all of Europe. That's another consideration there. Andy under Austin, dispatching turkeys is hard work, like wrestling a horse. Been there, done that. Yikes. Got that to look forward to, Pete. If I'm not mistaken, the Nando's in England the owner is Brazilian, not Portuguese, but I may be mistaken, says Joel. Nonetheless, for Portuguese products in England, there's good alternatives. Yeah, I pass that competition. Ron show, full Clariso, you plum. You plum. It's the proper only fools and horses exchange going there. Rodney, you plum. Right. I don't know what that is. Folklore, so you plum the traditional. Okay, so but again, you're going to cut a dash, aren't you? If you go and get yourself a traditional dancing outfit, Portuguese style. Everybody, you've been amazing. Shall I see if I can find just as a finale for this amazing show? Do we finish with Pete Bleach's Wi-Fi array? I wonder. Gary, have you? I'll see if I can find it. I think you might have emailed it to me, so I've got to look at my various platforms and so on. Would you please, Gary, get anything off your chest or mind that you wish to say at the moment, and buy me a bit of time here while I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think we've got some good things coming in the pipeline, as far as I'm concerned. There are changes afoot, which can't talk about at the moment, but I can just say that it'll probably help the program a little bit. Certain forces are coming together, shall we say, and things are looking good. I'm enjoying life quite a lot at the moment, and watch this space.
Forces are coming together. I love it. It's sounding like the A-team, isn't it?
This has been happening for weeks. You know, all the planets are aligning now. That's what it is. It's like
I've looked at many platforms here, and I can't find anything from Pete Bleach. It might have gone into my danger spam account or something like that with all this.
That folder, that folder.
That one where all my products.
All your adverts are.
My digital equivalent of a brown envelope. So let's say goodbye to everyone. Imagine Carl with 7 skirts. Is that a traditional Portuguese thing? Show me yours, Joel, and I will show you mine. You plonker. Everyone's being very, very familiar this morning, aren't they? Not a pretty sight. A man with 7 skirts on. I don't know. I'd give it a go. I recommend the TP. It is so specialist now, Gary. Look what you've unleashed this morning. The TP Link EV1300 as a booster. But you wish you never asked that.
Doesn't it? This is the next Terminator film.
Well, and that thing comes to life. You wake up to find the TP AV1300 standing over you, asking if there's anything I can do for you, Master. Shall I get your special barbecue sauce from the fridge? Love your work. So happy to have found you. Crazy, lovable, funny, joyful people. Right back at you, Mac007. Great to have your company this morning. Carl, you've been giggling a lot this morning. What was in the tofu? It didn't go anywhere near my mouth. There was it was it was one of those smells. It's like the rotting boar in the valley at the moment. A story I'm sure you've heard about already. But there are certain smells that just hang there. It's as though they lock on to you like Velcro to your nasal hair or something. And this rotten tofu was one of those. Better than, but don't mention that because I think I've got away with that thing there. Run show is folklore dancers. Thank you, Paolo. Not bullfighters, you plum. I was living in Dundee, so I only had little for Portuguese stuff on my trips back home, taking one suitcase empty and back full of goodies. We'll have to go into that another time, Elra. I'd love to know what you took back. Go on, Gary.
I'll just coming back to the wild boar, the dismembered wild boar.
Yeah,
wild boars are pretty feisty things, aren't they? Really. Yeah. Let's be honest. Yeah. And even you took flight from. So what's happened to the boar? That's what I've been more scared of. What's roaming around Videsh that did that to the boar?
Oh no! You shouldn't have put that in my mind. That hadn't occurred to me.
Is the beast of Videsh, is it returned?
Well, I've got to find something that rhymes that starts with B, don't I, to give it so it has the right ring to it. Well, that's a good question. I mean, just to bring everybody quickly up to speed, just in case you haven't heard. And incidentally, the TP 1300 does make coffee and it squeezes your lemons for you, which that's a nice offer. Gary, it's been a while, Austin. That classic line that you that's what finished me off, I think, on the helmet blessing episode. But now we've got 2 clips for the Christmas reel, I think. But yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. So the dismembered boar that I think was set upon by another boar. I'm hoping that's what happened. It was a boar on boar thing. You think there's something bigger killed the boar?
I think so. No, they might have a quick, go at each other, but it wouldn't rip it to bits.
This was a fight to the utter death and beyond. I tell you.
Yeah, and if it's been dismembered, then something else has done it. It wouldn't be a boar because they wouldn't do that. I don't think. So there must be dogs or something, or who knows? Maybe a road link.
Yes, I did see some dogs. You know how dogs kind of pack together, the strays get together and become a bit feisty. I did. we were walking into town the other day, and we were confronted by a dog in the lane, and it started barking at me. And instinctively, I just kicked up some dust and made myself as big as possible. And then I had the full-on snarling teeth. And by the end of it, I'd managed to sort of almost stroke the thing. But I think it was that one and its pals, possibly. You might be right. It might be dogs that finally ripped it apart. So yeah, but you've put a really a sort of nervy thought in my mind now. I had it down as boar on boar. And by the time I'd got to it, you know how it is with a decomposing. Sorry, everybody, if you're eating your tarada at the moment, but this carcass, the guts had been ripped open, so you could see. You know, when people in biology, you learn that there's enough intestine in a creature to go around a tennis court 27 times or whatever. I could see it. There it was. It's neatly packed, isn't it? Until it's not anymore, and then the belly gets distended and blows up in the sunshine, doesn't it? It's covered in flies. That's what I encountered, and actually the dogs keep bringing home goodie bag bits as well. So it was saving me a fortune on those pigs' ears from the pet shop, because they've got wild boar chews now. So anyway, today's episode's got a rather grisly end to it, hasn't it? It's had everything, hasn't it? It's had everything today, but and not least Gary leaving me with the idea that if a boar got killed in the valley, something bigger, fiercer, and nastier than a boar must have done it. So what?
A bear from round by me, by the picnic site. That's what it is. He's come round down going your way.
That bear that ran past in the background when you were down at the barbecue. All right. Well, I'll just leave that hanging there, and just wonder. You've sowed a seed of Stephen King-like doubt in my mind there. Thank you very much for that, Garvo. The eagles and vultures are pretty powerful. Luke lost one of his birds the other day to them. That's a point, Peach. Peach. I've just called him Peach by truncating his name there. Peter Bleach. Yes, because friends of ours in Devon, they heard this squealing, and the pigs that they were breeding, one of the piglets got carried away by a buzzard. I mean, and that must have been, pretty horrible, obviously, for the little piglet, but it must have been the most amazing sight to see a squealing piglet being carried off into the sky by a buzzard. Wild dogs, yeah, so possibly wild dogs. And this is like the beast of Bodmin, isn't it? Now the rumours are starting, and this is not. I'm not going to tell Mrs. M about this because she doesn't want me to go out anywhere at the moment without this second layer of intrigue.
Your very own handed factuals, haven't you? That's where it is.
Thank you, Gary. Second season of Clarkson's Farm has been confirmed. They left the gates of hell open again. Joel loving the Clarkson there. Great show, guys, today. Thank you. Cheers, Andy. You plum. Iberian lynx. Oh, stop it now. There are wild bears. There are wild bears. There aren't wild bears in Portugal. Thanks for the show. Must go for dinner over there in Australia. Marvelous. And I tell you what, we'll go out with the extra, not the intro, the extra from Pete Wilton Davies. And I want to thank you again, Gary. Every Monday on the gardening Q&A and the title sequence you make, I love it more and more. It's got a funky bass line in it. Fantastic music you chose there for that, and thanks again for that. Here's one from Pete Wilton Davis. Thanks everybody. Thanks Garvo. Take care. Have a great day over there in Alviagra. Bye for now. Where is